and welcome to Askimo TV. I'm talking today to Vicki Dawson. Vicki is a sleep practitioner and founder of the Children's Sleep Charity. Hi Vicki, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, Joanne, thank you.
Wonderful. Vicki, let's talk today about sleep problems, particularly in toddlers. So let's begin with, what are some of the problems that can come up with kids' sleep?
Okay, we see lots of children who find it difficult to wind down at night time, so are very, very active, and actually that's a symptom of sleep deprivation quite often, but it does lead to hyperactivity. We see a lot of youngsters who find it hard to actually fall asleep, and then some of the youngsters that we work with find it hard to stay asleep, so they will wake up all night. And then we have the children who get up very early in the morning, so might start the day at 4 a.m.
How can I tell if my child is sleep deprived, and how much sleep do kids need?
Okay. Sleep is a very personal thing, so we all need different amounts of sleep. But just to give you a rough kind of guide, at 2 years you'd be expecting a child to still have an afternoon nap and to be having around 11 hours at night. I think one of the myths is that knocking daytime naps off will help with the nighttime sleep, but that's not actually accurate. If your child is functioning very well and doesn't seem tired in the daytime and hasn't got behaviour issues, because often we find that sleep deprived children are grumpy, are overactive, then actually I'd question whether they do have a sleep problem. So a sleep problem is only a problem if it's impacting on the functioning really during the day.
What if my child has problems settling in at night or resists going to sleep?
It's important to be consistent with your child and to set up a really good bedtime routine that's calming and that's going to promote relaxation. And it's important that we teach our children to go to sleep independently, and sometimes that takes a little while, so some children need a parent to stay with them, to calm them, to get them into a nice sleepy state. And what we would do in that case is we would set up a sleep program whereby the parent can gradually retreat away from the room so that the child does learn to self-settle, because if a child can't settle at the beginning of the night, they're not going to be able to settle throughout the night when they come to points of awakening after each sleep cycle. So it really is key that we do put the work in. And it's the same with the naps as well. It's important that children have a good nap schedule as part of their sleep routine, and that they are taught to settle themselves to sleep during nap times too.
How do I teach my child good sleep habits? What are some of the top do's and don'ts?
I think it's about taking sleep seriously, and it's about recognising the importance of sleep, and it's about setting up this really good routine. So one of the things that I would recommend is that all televisions are switched off in the hour leading up to bedtime. We know that TV and any screen type activity has an impact on sleep quality. So turning off the television. And another good tip is to introduce calming activities, and activities that tend to be calming involve hand-eye coordination tasks. So introducing jigsaw puzzles, colouring in, any sort of activity like that is going to help to promote calmness and sleep. Dimming the lights is also important because we produce something called melatonin in our bodies when the lights are dimmed, and this helps us to feel drowsy, and therefore we want to encourage children to produce melatonin naturally. So by darkening the environment, we can help to support their bodies to do this.
What are nightmares and night terrors, also called sleep terrors, and how are they different?
Yes, nightmares and night terrors often get mistaken for each other. So we'll start with the nightmares. Nightmares usually happen in the early hours of the morning in that type of sleep, and nightmares are a typical developmental stage that children go through. When they're about 2, they start to have nightmares, and they are harmless, but children do need reassuring when they've had a nightmare, because they will wake up and they may be absolutely terrified, and so it is important that they do get some reassurance. Night terrors usually happen in the first part of the sleep cycles, so they usually happen roughly about half an hour after a child's gone to bed, and the child may scream out, they may be sweaty, they may look absolutely terrified, but the child will actually still be asleep. So with the night terror, the child just needs to be calmed and lay back down in bed. No need to waken a child up or discuss it. They will not know that this has happened. So it's about parents waiting until they're in the calm state. And night terrors can be a symptom, again, of sleep deprivation. So sleep-deprived children are more likely to have them. There can also be a link with raised temperatures and night terrors. So sometimes we see that children get them if they are teething or if they're going through illness.
And just to end off, Vicki, what organizations are there to support parents whose children are suffering from sleep issues?
Well, health visitors can support parents of children under 5, and I also run the Children's Sleep Charity, and we are a national charity, and we support families using cognitive behaviour therapy techniques. Other than that, there are a number of self-help books on the market, but unfortunately there still isn't a great deal of support around sleep issues in the UK.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks, Joanne.